Oh man, my FPS isn't so great right now. I wonder if it's because of my second monitor, or my third, or my fourth? Surely all these monitors are affecting my FPS, right? Hello, hi there, I'm TechDweeb, welcome, thanks for clicking on the video. Let me take you back, way back, to a simpler time, the dawn of multiple monitors. It's 1998. Little TechDweeb was 15 years old. He just left the theater after seeing Dirty Work, rollerblading home listening to Smashing Pumpkins on his Discman, excited to play Half-Life on his fresh installation of Windows 98. But he couldn't do that just yet, because as always, he had to click away multiple Windows 98 missing DLL errors, and as he opens the display properties to change his screensaver, something catches his eye. He learns that Windows 98 has the ability to have multiple displays on the same PC. His mind starts racing. Think about all the power that he would have if he had two monitors. He could play Half-Life on one monitor and show a 3D text marquee on the other, or have Winamp playing, or ICQ so that he could anonymously cyberstalk his girl crush. But, alas, his computer wasn't very good. He could barely handle Half-Life on its own. Surely having two monitors would cripple his already struggling system. So he dismisses the idea. His dreams of being able to effortlessly use Netscape Navigator to look up Simpsons quotes on his second display would remain a pipe dream for years to come. Yeah, so the video today is about a topic that I see online quite a bit. It's been around for ages, actually. The myth is that having multiple displays connected to your computer will make your games run not good, bad. It'll make your games run bad. That's the myth. We hear it all the time. It pops up online. Someone will ask the question out of curiosity, and then you'll have people that say, nah, it doesn't matter. And then an equal number of people say, yeah, it totally matters. Even in my videos, when I'm doing a GPU test or something and I show my multi-monitor setup, someone will pop up and say that it's not a proper test because I have multiple displays connected to the GPU, which affects the test. And it makes sense why people think this. I mean, the GPU does need to render stuff on those displays, right? So why wouldn't that mean that the GPU has less resources to allocate to rendering the 3D graphics for your game? Or the other side of the coin, maybe just running displays doesn't require that much out of a GPU. Heck, a GT 710 can run 4 displays after all, so maybe it won't make a difference, but maybe it does. If only we had someone to make a YouTube video to bust this myth. So here's how we're going to test this. To start off, let's pick an appropriate GPU. My main GPU, the RTX 3080, is so freaking powerful at running games that the horsepower needed to run a simple monitor display like this is a drop in the bucket. So that's not going to be the best way to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to swap this out for a much weaker GPU, the Nvidia T600. Hello, my old friend. Long time no see. I freaking love this GPU. I made several videos about it. It was like a hero during the scalper pandemic. I've chosen this GPU because it supports 4 displays over mini DisplayPort connections, and also it's not a super powerful gaming GPU. It can play games with a horsepower of somewhere between a 1050 Ti and a 1650, so we should see a much more pronounced performance differential compared to using a proper gaming GPU. Like I said, I have 4 monitors hooked up to my Dweeb station. The monitors around the outside are all 60Hz 1080p displays, and this bad boy in the middle is a 34-inch ultra-wide display with a resolution of 3440 by 1440 and a 100 MHz refresh rate. My plan is to push the GPU to the point where it's rendering games at around 30 FPS, so basically just barely playable, which is the point where you'd expect any extra strain on the GPU would make a pretty noticeable difference. If there is a difference at all. I'm going to run 3 tests. The first will be using a single display without any other monitors connected, and the average FPS that we get will be our baseline. The second test will be with all 4 monitors connected, but with nothing on them, no browsers or anything, just the Windows desktop. And then for the third test, we'll have stuff open on the monitors. Maybe a YouTube video playing, a browser with tabs, GOG Galaxy or something. Just a realistic multiple monitor use case. difficulties. Before we continue, place your bets in the comments below. Come on, don't be shy. What do you think? Does having multiple displays affect the performance in your games? And by how much? Take a guess. I asked this in my Discord server what those TechDweebs think, and I told them that the person who gets the closest will get a shout out in the video. I got guesses anywhere from no difference to 20% difference. I honestly don't know. I've never actually tested this properly. My guess is that if it's affected, it'll be by an amount so small that you could barely detect it, but I'm super curious to find out the truth and settle this once and for all. So let's freaking do this thing, shall we? Starting off with our first test, here we are up and running with my T600, and only my main display is connected. I'm running Shadow of the Tomb Raider at the low settings, and my monitor's native resolution of 3440 by 1440, which is like halfway between 1440p and 4K resolution, and we're averaging 31 FPS here. That's exactly where I want to be for this test. And can I just say, hats off to the T600. 30 FPS at WQHD resolution, that's not too shabby. So these are the settings in a single monitor setup that'll give us 31 FPS, but my desktop resolution will get much bigger when we enable those second, third, and fourth monitors. So let's see if they make a difference. Again, if you haven't taken a guess yet, pause the video and leave a comment. What do you think is going to happen? Okay, so now we're running the exact same scene, same camera angle, everything's the same, but we have my other 3 monitors on with nothing on them, just the Windows desktop. And we are now averaging 30 FPS. So we did go down. A tiny bit, but it is down. That's about a 3% performance drop. On the T600, of course. Like I said, if we were using my RTX 3080, the performance drop wouldn't be even close to 3%. I'd probably still be only a frame or two, even though the game would be running at like, I don't know, 200 FPS. But if you thought it wouldn't make any difference at all, that's not true. There is a little bit of a difference. I didn't think that having the monitors just on would make any difference, so I was wrong there. But nobody is going to connect 3 monitors and not do anything with them, right? They're not just going to put the Windows desktop there. Obviously, you're going to have stuff open. So let's try that now. And here we are, a YouTube video playing, GOG Galaxy, and Discord all open at the same time. And look at that, we did go down again. We're down by 1 FPS, down to 29 FPS. So that's another 3% performance loss, which is 6% total, going from 1 monitor to 4 monitors with a bunch of stuff on them. I mean, I think I could have predicted that having YouTube videos playing on a second monitor would make a difference, but the big surprise to me is that it's the same performance hit as the difference between having 3 displays connected at all. So, is this enough to be a deal breaker? Well, here's the thing about this test that I just did. It's a worst case scenario. I'm running a weak GPU that isn't meant for gaming, a GPU that can barely handle the game at a playable FPS, on an ultra-wide WQHD monitor, and then I connected 3 1080p monitors. That's a huge amount of extra pixels on a GPU that can barely play the game at all. And even still, even in this very, very worst case scenario, I only lost 2 out of 31 FPS. I dare say that you wouldn't ever notice a 2 FPS performance hit, even at these lower FPS numbers. So I'm gonna say that practically, as far as whether or not it's enough of a difference to even bother worrying about or paying attention to, I'm gonna say no. It really doesn't matter. I mean, it matters a teeny tiny bit on the very worst case scenario here, but come on. Even here, are you ever gonna notice that 2 FPS difference? And even if you did, wouldn't having the ability to have Discord and YouTube open while you smash some demons in the face make it worth doing anyways? So that's it. That's my conclusion. Unless you're running with the very lowest possible GPU to play your game at barely playable FPS and then connect 3 other 1080p monitors and play YouTube or whatever else on them, then no. It's not going to make a difference, and even if it does, the difference will be so tiny that you couldn't even tell unless you had your FPS counter open like a TechDweeb. So don't worry about it, buddy. Just enjoy your multi-monitor battle station and don't stress about it too much. I know how much you love having TechDweeb videos open while you game, so now you have my permission to do that to your heart's content. And that brings us to the end. So, how did you do with your prediction? I was pretty close. I said it would be a tiny amount that you wouldn't really be able to notice, and that feels pretty accurate to me. But I'm excited to see what you guys guessed in the comments below. Oh, and the winner from my Discord was this guy, Luke the Rock 868. He guessed 2 FPS, and that's exactly right. That's exactly what we got. Good job, buddy. You got your shout out. You're famous now. Enjoy this while you can. It's all downhill from here. If any of you have good ideas for a video like this, common PC gaming myths that you want me to investigate, drop your suggestions in the comments below. And while you're down there, click the thumbs up button if you like the video, Or don't, if you didn't. Stop by my Discord server. Come hang out with a swell bunch of tech dweebs if you're into that sort of thing. And that's it for me. I'm TechDweeb. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.